Wait, I thought all you dislike, just give me a minute. Give me a minute just to talk about this whole situation, and I think you probably might agree with me. So, today, this hopefully will be the last video I ever talk about Verstappen and KVYAT in the same video, you know, this whole sort of thing with them switching teams and all that. And obviously this weekend, the Spanish Grand Prix, we're going to finally get to see a chance. Well, actually tomorrow we're going to get to see a chance in free practice of how they fare. And I'm looking forward to this a lot because honestly I do feel KVYAT is a very, very talented driver, as is Max Verstappen. And this could be a really good chance for both of them to prove how good they are, not just as racing drivers, but as, you know, humans as well, and you know, mentally as well. You know, how they can cope with the pressure. So we could see here a really, really good or really bad weekend from both of these drivers here, and this could be the most important race for both of them in their careers, especially I'd say for KVYAT, because he needs to show that he's quicker than Sainz for the first thing. And he also needs to show that he can be competitive with, you know, other drivers, race side by side. And it wasn't just, you know, well, it was just a blip in Russia, basically. That was a one-off, and it's not going to happen again. So KVYAT, you could say for him, it's extra pressure. This could be the biggest race of his life. He needs to do well, to, you know, this weekend. And in my opinion, he needs to be ahead of Sainz straight away to prove that he was good enough for that Red Bull seat straight away. So it'll be interesting. This whole weekend's going to be interesting. Obviously, the dynamic of them switching teams is interesting for the avid F1 viewer, and for the person that doesn't really keep up to date with F1 news, it's probably going to be quite confusing. But they're all basically, you know, under the same sort of contracts at the end of the day. Not, you know, maybe not wages, but in terms of, you know, what the teams can do with their drivers. You're basically employed as a Red Bull driver, and you probably just drive for whatever team they ask you to. So it's very important for KVYAT, but I think for Verstappen as well, he needs to prove that he can adapt quickly and move into a new car and show that he is this really amazing, talented driver that we all know that he will be at some point. In my opinion at least, Verstappen is pretty much there. He just needs to iron out a couple of things that he said to the press about Carlos Sainz that annoyed me a little bit, and also a couple of mistakes here and there in the races. I mean, he's generally spot on, but a few races I don't know, I could say he could have done a bit more, and he probably could have done less, you know, silly things in races. But at the end of the day, well, he's an 18-year-old, he's driving Formula 1. I think we're all pretty, you know, envious of his position. So obviously we'd all want to be in his position right now to be driving for Red Bull Racing. But at the end of the day, I can't really criticise him for being obviously a little bit hot under the collar some instances, and maybe to the press not being as, I don't know what the right word is really to say, but maybe as understandable to the press. You know, maybe sometimes even if you're annoyed, you can block out something just because, you know, it would be best not to be said, you know, to the whole world. So to be perfectly honest, Verstappen is an incredible driver, and he's an incredible driver now. I think the whole reason I was trying to stand with KVYAT is because, to me at least, I know there's more reasons behind it than just this, but I think Red Bull took a swipe at KVYAT, and this was the perfect opportunity to get rid of him. Maybe they saw at the start of the season it was a mistake to put him in the Red Bull, and they maybe should have just got rid of him altogether. But, you know, even though he did beat Ricciardo last year in the standings, okay, Ricciardo had a few DNFs more or whatever, but he still beat Daniel Ricciardo in the standings. You know, that's history. You can't change it, and there's no point, you know, making excuses. He did beat Daniel Ricciardo, not exactly 100% fairly, but you know what I mean. He was ahead of him in the championship, and that's history. And I honestly feel now Verstappen and KVYAT could come together on the track on Sunday, and it could be one hell of a race. I'm really hoping it happens. I mean, it'd be so cool to see. I mean, obviously we want the underdog to win, and now the underdog has turned into Daniel KVYAT. Obviously, a lot of people feeling he's been mistreated here, so I think it would just be a bit funny and a bit cool to see Daniel KVYAT beat Verstappen this weekend. It's unlikely. It is unlikely, to be perfectly honest. That Red Bull is quicker, and obviously with the last year's Ferrari in the back of the Toro Rosso, I'm not really expecting much in the straight lines, but who knows, it could be a good racetrack for Toro Rosso, we'll see. But I'm looking forward to this one, guys. The Grand Prix, practice, qualifying, all of that over the next few days. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to miss the race, unfortunately, but yeah, it is what it is. I'll try and find some live tweets or something whilst I'm on the train up to Manchester. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments down below. KVYAT or VERSTAPPEN? It should be a really interesting race in Spain. Let's see. Thanks for watching. It's been Alex about it. Goodbye.